Thank you, Mark. Good morning again. Good morning. Are you energized yet? All right, good. Well, I gave you the mic back. I'm very excited to be up here and be able to spread a little bit of what God put on my heart today. We're in this Luke series. If you haven't been here, don't forget you can actually follow along with us because Jen, our secretary, who's awesome, keeps putting the video sermons right up on the website. So if you missed one, you can go back and watch them anytime you want. She's usually up by like Monday afternoon. So that'd be pretty cool. But so we're in the Luke series. We've been going through the book of Luke. And when we picked things out, then I was going to talk about that drawing the short straw. Like I guess I took the long straw. Like I got the lost sheep scripture. Like you could just read it and like people will be like, oh, that's a good sermon. But what's funny is God put on my heart to talk about the part that you zoned out on. Some of you are watching intently, but I zoned out on it usually. You see, I think most of us have heard the lost sheep story 1,000 times. We've heard the little fuzzy sheep and how he leaves the 99 and they're so cute and they're stuck on a hill and the shepherd carries her over his shoulder. And then there's this other add-on about some lady who dropped a coin and like, coins aren't cute. You don't do anything. So if you zoned out on it, you're like, no, I never really paid attention that there was a follow-up story. Or even if you read it here and you were like, yeah, I'm thinking sheep still. That's what God has on his heart for me to talk to you about today. So, the story I'm going to start with takes place in 1980-ish, somewhere around there, in Columbus. See, I was born in Columbus and lived there for a little while. And my dad's twin sister, Brenda, still lives there today. She's married to my Uncle Ray. And they had several kids, but their youngest kid, Ray Jr., was about 2 months younger than I am. And Ray Jr. and I've heard this story from a variety of different people over the years, but I'm not going to give you my understanding of how the story went based on piecing all these different versions together. Ray Jr. and I were with my mom and Aunt Brenda at a Hart's. Do you know what a Hart's is? That's a Big Bear. Like it's in Philly. A Hart's is like a Dillard's, like a department store. And they were shopping. Now, Ray comes from the same bloodline as me, and so if you can imagine two little me's and what we would have been like at age 4. If you've talked to Keely, you have a little bit of an idea, my daughter, that it's there, but just the constant, what's this, Mom? How can we have this? What do we do this? Can you buy me that? What's this thing? Why did they make that way? How come the zippers in it? And Ray was just like me, except way, way, way more ornery. If you can picture that. So anyway, we're at the store, and I'm guessing, because I've seen Denise do it, it's a gift for dads, but I think moms get it also after a while having small children, is that with your children like that constantly, with the talking, it becomes like white noise. Kind of like right now, you hear the air conditioner here, you probably almost forgot it was on, but whenever it shuts off, why is it so quiet? And you see, what I'm picturing happening in the story was that we were constantly, can I have this, can I have this, look what I can do, watch me. And eventually what moms can do is it just becomes white noise. And they murmur things like, oh, great, cute. That's nice, son. And so what I'm guessing happened is at some point, just like what happens when the air conditioning shuts off, I'm like, oh, it's really quiet in here, is that all of a sudden my aunt was like, why is it so quiet? And then she's like, oh no. And Ray was gone. Now, I don't think I'm a good kid. I was standing there. I don't have any information about where Ray is to help them, but I was still there. And I don't know if you've ever lost one of your children before, even temporarily. I remember losing Delaney for a minute. She was putting something in the trash can, but it was in a big, busy place, and I couldn't find her, and I freaked out. I don't know if you've ever had that experience where somebody so important to you and so little is gone. And you're like, what do I do? And so my aunt was freaking out. She's getting my mom. They're all looking around everywhere, yelling for people, asking for help. Store people are working, anybody they can find with all the passion of hearts beating, looking for this little boy, 4 years old, lost in a department store. Now, if you can picture like in TV shows where they switch the action from one place to another, you see, Ray didn't think he was lost because he's 4. You see, Ray was inside one of those big round clothing things, and he was jumping out to scare people. You see, while people over here are panicking, it's adorable over here, and people are going, oh, that kid's so funny, boo, and he's running from one clothing to the next. But we haven't seen Ray in quite a while. And they're getting more and more worried as minutes are passing. This isn't Columbus. This isn't where I grew up, or in Chardon, where you're, down the road and you're like, everybody knows everybody. This is scary now. And so they keep looking and don't find him. And eventually he boos and jumps up and says boo to a store person that looked at him and went, I don't see a parent. He goes, what are you lost? He goes, nope. He goes, do you know where your mom is? Nope. And so they took him, and this really isn't the best part that can happen, because then this, from what I understand, he continued to do this much in the future, because this was super fun. The store clerk then took him to the front, and he said, do you know your mom's name? He said, yes, it is Brenda McFarland. And he gets on the PA and says, Brenda McFarland, we have your son at the front thing. You can hear your mom through the PA. So I think that was encouragement to him, but you can imagine my Aunt Brenda, who was running to the front of the store and grabbed her away and hugging him and thinking, oh, my son, who was lost. How passionately she must have been searching for him. And so, as I tell you this story, I want you to think about this lady and her lost coin, and you got to think of Paul, this coin compared to a little boy lost. See, back in the day, there's some smart people that actually interpret this stuff. And back in the day, the type of coin that she lost was worth about a day's wages. Even then, losing a day's wages, it would be something to think about. You don't want to lose a whole day's worth of work. But monetarily back then, for a woman to lose an entire day's wages would have been a lot. It would have been meaning people weren't going to eat. So that would have been one thing. But then some other people researched it further and said that there was this thing that women back then actually needed to collect 10 of these coins that would have been worth that much. And they created like this little headdress out of it that they would wear on their way to their wedding as like kind of a gift to their husband. And so a better way to put the loss of this coin would have been like if you had great-great-grandmother's wedding band that she brought from the old country, and it's been passed down from family member, and you were about next month to put that on your finger for your wedding, and you've lost it in your house and you can't find it anywhere, you're going to stop what you're doing to find that, and your heart's going to stop, because this is great-great-grandma's wedding, and everybody else is mourning their weddings, and I need this ring. And that's how she felt about this. And so this woman really had a passion for this. And so today I bring you a sermon title called Who Cares? And I want to bring up something very interesting about this coin. This is why I stopped on this. Because God felt my heart to remind you something about this coin. The coin does not care at all. That coin is inanimate. It has no feelings and no emotions. It fell on the floor and it sits there. It doesn't know it's lost. It doesn't know anybody cares about it. It doesn't know it needs to be found. But does that make one bit of difference to the woman who does care? I'll say it again. The coin doesn't care at all. It doesn't know it's lost. It doesn't know it needs to be found. But does that make a bit of difference to that woman who needs it? No, because she frantically searches for that, because it means so much to her. And folks, I want to tell you that that's how God feels, because God cares. You see, there are people all over the place, people that we love, people that we care about, maybe even people we don't like, that we look at and we go, what's wrong with you? Because see, we live in the United States of America, which is an awesome blessing. It's an amazing place, but it's also the same place where I have clean drinking water wherever I want. I go out there and get a drinking water fountain. I can go to the grocery store and get groceries whenever I want and have clean, healthy food that's not going to make me sick. I can go home and watch my big flat screen TV and watch football later. I can take my kids to stuff. I have 2 cars in my house. I have a mower that I can sit down on to mow my grass. I don't even have to push it. What do I need saved for? My life's pretty good, right? I'm not lost. I don't need to be found. And there are people all over the place, some might even be in here, who are thinking, what do I need God for? I got it pretty good. And so they don't feel like they need found. But I want to tell you that that's not going to change God at all. Because even if you don't feel like you need found, even if they don't feel like they need found, God will never, ever stop searching for them. And what's so cool about it is, even though He knows that we won't care, that there are people here who are just going to sit in sin and not ever want to do anything about it, He says in Romans 5 that His love for us is so much that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. He gave up everything, His one and only Son on the cross to die, because He felt that strongly about it. See, God's not sitting at home watching the Ohio State game and then during commercials He's going to look. Or I'll look for sinners during halftime. You see, God is putting all of it in. Every second, every bit of His energy is spent on finding those lost souls and bringing them back. And I think that's amazing. Now, when I was looking at this too, I thought, there's like this much about the lost coin. I was looking up, and this pastor who is part of the Red Cross, his last name was Moffat, he suggested something else was interesting, and so I grabbed one of these guys. And what was interesting in the story is it actually said, when Mark read that that she grabbed a lamp and she lit the lamp, and lamp oil is expensive because in Middle Eastern homes it would have been very dark, not electricity, and they usually would have had one window. And so most of the house would have been dark even during the day, and she burned precious lamp oil in the corners. But she grabbed a broom. And the reason she grabbed the broom is because the floor was likely covered in straw to make it softer. So it's a dirt floor with straw, and your coin is somewhere in your house. In that, in a mess of straw, impossible to find. She picked up the broom and she frantically sweeping away the straw to clear out. And they said, too, that probably the broom, when it hit that coin, knocked it up and it would make a sound and you could hear it. And that led her to, she grabbed the coin and she picked it up, and it says she rejoiced when she found it. Well, this guy said that I thought was a pretty interesting point to share with you is, he said, maybe you and I are God's broom. See, God is frantically looking for things that don't even know they want to be found. And He'll use anything. And folks, the reason why I love this analogy is because I talk to people all the time who go, well, I can't sing and I can't talk in front of people. What's God ever going to use me for? I hear it so much. You know what this broom did for months, maybe years in that woman's house? It swept up trash. That was its job. This is no more special than anything else. But that day, when she put her hands around it, this broom served the purpose of sweeping away stuff and getting it out of the road so she could find that coin. It knocked it around and made a noise so that she could pick it up. This broom saved the day. So, you guys are much more valuable than a broom. Your skills are much more awesome than what a broom has to offer. The book of Matthew, there's that famous scripture, you guys are the light of the world. It's your job. You don't light a candle and then cover it up. You put it up high so it lights up the whole room. So I'm telling you, you're better than a broom. You have gifts that God can use to find things. And so, believe it or not, as long-winded as I normally am, this sermon is almost over. You and God are a 1-2 punch. Because our God, in Romans, one of my favorite verses says, in all these things we are more than conquerors through Him who loved us. For I am sure that neither death nor life, nor angels nor rulers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor powers, nor height, nor depth, nor anything in creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus. He will not let anything stand in the way, and you get to be this. Can you imagine God reaching down and using the hands that created the earth to wrap around you and use you to step in front of something that's blocking someone's view and sweep it out of the road? That there's something that's trying to find its way back and that God's trying to get to, and He can come in there in that voice, you do something, say something, be something to them. Is you sweeping so that that coin can have clear space to get through. Can you imagine that God wants to grab you, the same hands that He formed a man out of, and use you to make a difference in someone's life? You don't have to be anything special. You don't have to be anything great, because a broom that sweeps up trash was used to find a coin, and everybody rejoiced. So I ask you, who cares? Because there are an awful lot of people in our world that don't care at all. They don't think they're lost. They don't think they need to be found. They don't think they need anything. God cares. God cares with all that He is. With every breath, with every moment, with every second, He is searching for people who He loves. I care. I care about you guys. I care about the people out there. I care about my family. I want them to know Jesus. Will you care? Will you care enough to, at the least, be a broom waiting to be grabbed by God? To be able to brush those things out of the way? To be able to hear His voice and say, I can say that. I can be a little bit of light here, and someone will remember it. Because you and God together, a powerful 1-2 punch, can change the whole wide world. Because I promise you, God's love is outstanding. It's relentless. It's never going to change. So if you're willing to join in with Him, the world could be a way better place. Would you pray with me? Father God, You are good. You amaze me with the things that You can come up with. the way you can touch people's lives, God. I mean, it amazes me that as dumb as I am and as many things as I've done to blow it, that you knew I was going to do it and you gave your son up for me anyway. God, help us to recognize that wherever we're at with you, we can be used. Whether we're on the bottom of our life, whether we're at the top, whether we don't think we have the gifts, God, you can make a difference. So God, lift us up. Let us be brooms. Let us clear away paths, God, and let us be ready that as we rally day today, that as we believe wholeheartedly that you are going to change young people through Sunday school, that you will put people's lives in front of us, that we can show direction so that they find you, God, that you will be there with us. And if we're just willing, God, that you will put your hands on us like the lady did with the broom, and that we will find things. God, we thank you so much that you cared enough to send your son. Send us out to do awesome things for you. It's in your son's name we pray.